Before we can get to work on our AI, we need to create a new project to store all of our assets. In this video, we'll see how to create a new project using the Epic Launcher and how to correctly configure the options to include the starter content. Once that is done, we'll use the starter content to add some obstacles to our level, which we will later have our AI navigate around. Finally, we will see how to download a completed version of the project that can be used as a reference should you get stuck. Let's begin from the Epic Launcher. Ensure that we're in the Unreal section on the left-hand side and move over to the Library tab at the top. Select the correct engine version that you wish to use. I'm using version 4.22, but any version newer than this should also work just fine. Pressing the Launch button will open the Unreal Project Browser. From the Project Browser, select the New Project tab at the top and ensure the Blueprint tab is selected below. In the Blueprint section, select the third-person template before moving down to confirm the settings. Ensure that the hardware target is set to desktop/console and the graphical quality level is set to maximum quality. Finally, ensure that starter content is included as we will be using this during the rest of the course. Finish up by selecting a location for your project to be stored and choosing a name. Then, when everything is complete, press Create Project in the bottom right-hand corner to continue. We'll start by creating the obstacles for the AI to navigate around. We'll do this by modifying an existing asset in the level to suit our purposes. From the viewport, left-click to select the Cube Mesh Static Mesh actor. With the static mesh selected, move over to the Details panel and the Transform rollout. In the Scale section, select Z and change the scale from 1.5 to 2.5. Note that this increases the height of the object, but now it's sticking below the floor, which isn't what we want. Using the Move tool in the viewport, raise the mesh above the ground and hit End on the keyboard to drop it down perfectly to the floor level. That's created one obstacle, but we need a few more for it to actually be useful. Reposition the camera in the viewport so we've got a better view, and then hold down Alt and drag from the Move tool to create another mesh. Do this once more so we can have 3 in a row. We still need more, so let's reposition the camera once more, hold down Shift and left click to select all 3 of the objects, and once again press Alt and use the Move tool to drag out one set, and then another set. Now we've got enough obstacles for it to actually be useful. However, what we can see is that they're now interfering with the existing walkway meshes, so we need to reposition them to give everything a bit more space. Keeping the current selection, hold down Shift and left click to select all the other meshes. With the other meshes selected, use the Move tool again and reposition them to give everything a bit more space. Finally, reposition the camera in the viewport once more and select all the meshes that make up the walkway. Hold down Ctrl and click each one of the meshes individually and use the Move tool in the viewport to move them once more. You may have noticed during this process that a warning has appeared in the top left of the viewport. The warning says lighting needs to be rebuilt, and if we look in the scene, we can see that the harder shadows do not match the position of our meshes. This is because these are baked shadows. While this won't affect gameplay or the AI, it's kind of distracting, so let's fix that right now. Move to the Build button in the toolbar, and on the right-hand side, select the drop-down and select the first option, Build Lighting Only. This will build the lighting in the scene and resolve the problem. Now we can see that the lighting has been rebuilt, the shadows look correct, and the warning is no longer present. The only thing left to do is to play in Editor and just check that everything looks the way we expect it to. Hit the Play button in the toolbar and click on the viewport. Now we can move the character around either using the keyboard or a gamepad, and we can see that we have our obstacles. We can see that they're big enough for the player to hide behind, and also obviously need to be moved around. Secondly, we can see that our walkway meshes are still present. This will be useful for demonstrating what a navigation mesh will do when presented with varying heights and slopes. We have now created and configured a new project from the Epic Launcher, ready to begin building our AI character. We have made sure to include the starter content so that we can speed up the process by basing our work upon existing assets. We also downloaded and installed the completed project file, allowing us to use it as a reference as we proceed through the course.